Recording is on.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
It's your boy Darcy.
This is Big Geek Umar. How are y'all doing today?
Doing really well.
Nice.
Really well.
Nice.
Thank you for asking.
I always do.
No one asked me though. I'm just saying.
It was to both of you and to the audience.
Sure it was.
Mm-hmm.
What's on the agenda, Umar?
All right. I feel that we have sufficiently got into enough of season 2 of The Boys to have some first reaction discussions, because episode 4 dropped last night, and so I would kind of want to talk about what we're thinking of it so far. So for the first 4 spoiler warning for all audience members, we're going to be reviewing and discussing big time everything that's happening in the first 4 episodes of The Boys. So if you haven't seen it, skip ahead to the next topic.
Yeah, because we already neck deep in this show, if you know what I'm saying. Hold on to that one.
All right. So to start with you, Darcy, what do you think of the first 4 episodes of The Boys of season 2?
Okay. How do I put this? Spit hot fire, spit hot fire, spit hot fire, spit hot fire. That's what I feel like. This show is off to a great start. Every episode has found some way to make me go, ugh. Every episode has been awesome. I'm trying to think, Stormfront scares me. Storefront scares me. And we already said spoiler warnings. Not just because she's a white supremacist, but she is psychopathic.
Okay, so I didn't actually pick up on the fact that she was a white supremacist until after season 3, when I was reading some stuff, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And they're like, "Yo, didn't you guys notice that she killed only people of color when she went into that apartment building?" And I was like,
"Yeah." Thing is, I actually got it from the trailer though. Because I just they hinted some stuff, and I was like, I knew she was gonna be. I got it from the trailer. I don't know, man. I got racism radar. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so Stormfront scares you. What else is on your mind?
Everything going on with Butcher and his woman is just that's gonna be interesting. That was sad, and that's gonna be interesting. What's gonna kind of come out of that for sure. Yeah. I don't want to say too many things because I just want to jump in on and add stuff. So Tactics, let me slide over to you. What are you thinking?
Yo, so overall, the show is great. I mean, I absolutely love this show. I loved it from the first season. I loved it from the first episode when A-Train ran through that chick.
Poor Robin.
I was sold on that. I was like, holy, okay, this is the caliber that we're getting with this show. All right, I'm in. Season 2, like you said, Darcy, is off to a phenomenal start. I am very pleased with all the little elements that they're adding into it. Stormfront, yes, is definitely crazy. I feel that even more so after watching episode 4, and there's that big reveal, and what she did to that guy and his face. I was like, oh my god, he looks like Mr. Potato Head that's been mangled to shit.
Oh,
it was it was crazy. So yeah, but I will say that Homelander still takes the cake as being the craziest motherfucker on that show, especially that last scene where I'm like, yo, are they really gonna go that route? And I'm like, yo, he's not wrapped too tight, man. But they kind of deviated from that a little bit, but yeah.
Got milk?
Yeah. Homefront is still, I think, I don't remember if it was you, Darcy, or Umar, where we were talking about how Homelander's kind of maturing a little bit more.
Yeah, I was saying that, yeah. Both of us saying that.
Well, that's a callback to last week when I get to put my hand up for everything.
Yeah, so there is definitely still there is a level of maturity that he's kind of evolved a little bit as a character in that regard, but not for the better. I think he's matured into a even bigger psychopath, you know? And so it's interesting to see. I'm liking, I kind of read ahead in terms of the comics of like who Black Noir is. And I feel like that's the route that they're taking. I won't spoil that for anyone who is watching. That's not familiar.
We can't go there.
That one I don't think we can spoil. Like,
I'll save that. But if they are going that route, then it's very interesting, and I'm very intrigued to see what they do with that, because they are taking a lot of liberties with the storyline, especially with not Homefront. We just mentioned her name. What's her name? Storm. Yeah. Okay. So actually, my question is. And this is going to be kind of a spoiler for anyone who hasn't currently seen episode 4 yet. But that reveal
at this point,
yeah. But that reveal about how she's actually Liberty, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean that she's actually the same Stormfront from the comics, or is that like was there actually a male Stormfront and she just took on that persona?
So in the comics, Stormfront was a male.
Yeah.
But again, like I've read the comic a while ago. I don't remember a lot of it because like I kind of like it was like a summer of comics that year, so I was like bulldozing through a lot of stuff.
Right.
And like I remember, but it was like something like I read with a whole bunch of things. So I don't know the finer points. I just know like the big beginning points, the secondary points, and how it ends.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember Stormfront too much. I just know that he was like crazy and like you know. He's fucked up.
So I know that Jensen Ackles is supposed to make it should show up in this season, and somebody put together their thought was that he was going to show up as Liberty, and so I wonder if it's going to end up being something like what Tactix was saying, where you will see the male version in the past, and there'll be Jensen coming in to play that, and then there'll be some kind of stealing of that mantle and becomes a Stormfront. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I can see that.
But by the way, I want to go back on that mature thing because I'm like I can see Umar's face going while Tactix was saying that thing. When I talk about his maturity, it's like you see how over the first 4 episodes they're dealing with his super codependency on the what's her name that died at the end of the last season.
Elizabeth Shue's character.
Yeah, Elizabeth Shue's character. So he's like maturing in that way, and he also wants to mature to like be this father figure, but he clearly has no handle on anything. But it's interesting because it's like he's going to become more, I don't want to say like in control of only one aspect of like, you know, he's got 99 problems, but at least this ain't the one. Kind of a scenario going on. So,
my favorite part was like when Giancarlo Esposito, in the first episode, just called him a man child to his face, and I was just like, he is, and like I can see he's maturing into a man psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with teenage emotional tendencies.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
like he's only there. You know, one scene that totally messed me up. So I was rewatching that scene, and like let's go like I a couple of scenes off the top of my head that are really messed me up. Obviously, the when Stormfront punches a guy in the face and calls him like a black son of a bitch or whatever she says, the Tactix called out. That one messes me. The whole milk scene, everything involving around milk just messes with me.
I couldn't even have a bowl of cereal this morning because of that shit.
but the one scene that really bothered me, and it also has to do with the way that it was shot and how dehumanizing and humiliating and horrific it was at the same time, is the blind guy scene.
Oh,
and that one really bothered me. Where the blind guy comes over and he's like, and Homelander's acting so like, oh, you know, it's great, and you know, you're the real hero because you've overcome like this disability, right? And it's like, oh yeah, that means a lot coming from you. He's like, let me ask just one thing, and then smashes him in both sides, and just unbelievable amounts of blood's pouring out. I was like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, when I saw that, I was like, he just devastated this man. He blinded this man all over again. And then on top of everything, he was like, you really think I would want to cripple on my team? And I was like,
Yeah, he even had like I love the actor because like he even had a Joker
He's
at
killing it.
because when she wasn't looking at him, he's like look at me, and he dropped his voice kind of like a little Heath Ledger like homage, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, he is terrifying. And
it's the smirk that he gives because you never know if he's just gonna be like very nice or if he's just gonna like literally just take your neck and snap it.
Exactly. You like every scene, and the thing is, all the characters feel the same way too because every scene they're just like, yo, what am I gonna get? What am I gonna get?
Yeah, because that scene with him and Maeve in the last episode where there's a big reveal about her being a lesbian, and they're having that dialogue after the show, and like he's just smiling, like, "No, I support you," and he just has that giant grin on his face, and you're like, "Yo, what?" I felt tense for her because I'm like, "Yo, what's he gonna do?"
Like I wanted to get in the car and go get that girl and drive her out of town. Like, we gotta bounce.
You know what Homelander reminds me of? He reminds me of, and I'm gonna go somewhere with this for a second because it's gonna sound bad, but like he reminds me of that uber political Christian, like everything on the face is presented so well kind of person, and you always feel like you can't trust that person because everything is like it's too political, it's too proper, it's too like everything about their faith, and they're pressing it really hard at you, and yet he has a God complex because he is at God levels, and so it's like he literally backs up his like. It's just like it's a facade that creeps you out, and yet you are way more afraid because it's not like a regular person where you're like, oh, he might do something and pull some strings. You're like, he might pull every string out my body.
All right, so like I'll give my review before we continue on this track. Like I am like you guys, I am loving season 2, just as much as I love season 1. Like we are like there was no. I would say that like it's not upping the ante, which I'm kind of glad for because like a lot of seasons they try to like go for like the next level. I like the fact that we're continuing the arc in like in the format, so like it's just as good as it was before, and that's what I need. That's what I want. I want the story to continue.
I almost want to say it's not like it's up the ante, but it's more condensed because we've had this first season to build all these things, and I almost feel like not condensed in like they're squeezing a lot. Like I don't know, it just feels like more is happening more often, which is good.
They can move more faster.
Yeah,
like,
that's
in the first episode they killed Jennifer Esposito, and I was like, oh shit, her head just exploded. What just happened? I was like, okay, so I don't know where this is going now.
Exactly. Little Game of Thrones in there, just a dash.
Exactly. And like I'm the acting still is like top notch. I'm really glad that they're actually taking time for each of the things that happen in first season. It's not like go. All the characters are actually taking their time to like process all the things that happened to them last season. So much so that like Huey became like borderline catatonic and suicidal, which makes sense. He's like, guys, I don't have anything in my life anymore. And you stop and think, you're like, I mean, he does have his dad, but his dad's like under witness protection, and it's like, yeah, he don't got nothing. And okay, but I just got to bring up because I know, Darcy, you talked about the fact that the whale was like made and stuff. When that happened, I was like, oh, that's what Darcy was talking about. And then I'm like, oh my god, I could see his heart. The heart was still going.
Yep. Yeah. That was practical. That was practical effects. That was not that. I love though when they did the interview and they were like, because Huey's always the one who had to like get all the guts spilled over him, and people would be like, oh yeah, like the rest of the actors would be like, oh, you're complaining too much, and then they all had to go through it, and they're like, no, you're not complaining too much. It's like it's still in my like pants like 3 days later. I don't understand.
Oh man, but like okay, so I'm continuing on. I'm loving how they're doing Butcher this season. Like, yeah, like he had humanizing stuff before, but like him interacting with Huey, and also the two of them like having their like confrontation, and then him actually coming and saving him, which I found to be like a really good scene, and not just the fact that he came and saved them, but also the fact that like, I mean, Homelander is just like, you're gonna kill him or I'm gonna kill you both.
Mhm.
And she's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this, and he's just like, just do it, like seriously, just do it. And then and also his follow up with her in the elevator in episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Look, I didn't know what he was doing when he started like putting his fingers like.
I know. I thought it was gonna get sexual. I was relieved and yet still upset.
That's exactly how I felt. That is exactly how I felt. I'm like, oh, thank God he's not molesting her. But no, he's going to stab her with his fingers. And I'm like, okay, this is terrifying in a completely different sense. But I also like that in terms of like his wife. Like, I found it very powerful when she's like, he raped me, and I went to Vought, and I couldn't come to you.
I know that's.
That was such an amazing scene and dialogue, because it's like, yo, guys, like guys in general, the whole like I need to like fight for my woman sort of thing is not what she needs in that moment. She went for like a stability and security for like the ramifications afterwards, and I was like, yes, finally someone said it. So I feel like they're dealing with that really thing. I gotta say, Homelander's axing A-Train was unique. It's like completely like this guy has literally run around the world for him, like doing all these crimes, and he's like, "Yeah, you fired." And then he like rehires him back as like a publicity stunt. And this season, Homelander's doing a lot of like investigations. And it's freaking me out. It's really freaking me out that like he's now following up on a lot of stuff, and the whole thing with Maeve is like the cherry on top. It's like, yeah, I did some checking, and you're lying to me. And I was like,
you know what scene that messed with me was I think it was episode 3 where Butcher's wife goes to the bot whatever, and she's like yelling at the security camera, and then Homelander repeats the words to her later, and I was like, is he listening over distance, or is he listening through the security camera? It's like, is he somehow hearing the signal through the security camera into the house? Because I'm like, wow, like, because I know he's supposed to be like Superman. If he has Superman can hear everything around the planet at all times, right? But he focuses. So is he literally like, oh, she's not home, and then listens for her voice across, and they're like, oh, okay, and it's like, that is super unsafe. That is. Yep. Super scary.
But if that's the case, then couldn't he easily find Butcher?
It's all about focus, though, because the thing is, like, he knows where she is. He's in the vicinity, and he's able to like focus on this. He doesn't know where Butcher is, and to be honest, I think he's purposely trying to avoid. Like, he likes playing with him.
Yeah, I also think he's just easily distracted because he's got too many priorities. Like, he's over here trying to deal with PR, and he's over here trying to like make everyone love him, and he's over here doing like the man is just distracted by his own hubris at the end.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Darcy, I'm glad you brought that up, because that part terrified me too. But also, what I find interesting is this season, everyone except for Giancarlo Esposito, everyone is failing at managing Homelander, because before they had their way of like managing him, but even then he was still doing like all the shit that he was doing. Like, we found out in this season, like when Maeve went to go check on her friend, it's like this guy was hitting on me for like an entire night, and the next day they found him like half his body here, the other half of his body like in the other room, and she's like, yo, I can't mess with this guy, so I do everything to kind of like manage him, and now no one can manage him, and it's terrifying.
So you know who else I really like this season? I'm gonna call him Aquabad, or the Deep.
Oh, fuck the Deep.
I when you were talking about the whale, I was just thinking of him standing on top, all stupid and proud. And then the stupid look in his face when he's like, "Oh no, they're gonna do it." It was just, I'm like, "Oh, that's so precious."
He's really turned him, and I'm glad that they had like his gills speak and kind of reveal the reason why he assaults all these women. It's just a bit, like, it's just like self-esteem, low self-esteem. But the thing is, he's still doing horrible things, and they're not even trying to redeem him, which I appreciate. They're just showing him going further and further down the well to like that world's version of Scientology.
Yeah. He's like, I almost like him a little bit in that I like he's pathetic.
Yes. And
Like-
I like the fact that he's like, I thought you guys said that I could choose my own wife. And it's like, yeah, and we chose for you. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and you're choosing this one. I'm like, I'm not even really paying attention to what's going on with his Scientology. I just like literally just like enjoy the scene to like laugh at him a little bit.
Poor Lucy the whale, though. Like, I will say that, like, when he got all the dolphins to like come at them, like, oh, okay, he's actually doing not a bad job. And he's like, oh, you brought a whale. Wait, didn't Darcy say something about a whale? Oh, he fucked up.
Yeah. Yo, Tactix. I feel like we're taking all the shine here. Throw something else out here, man.
What did you think of the milk scene?
What did I think of the
Milk scene.
It was disgusting. I felt very uneasy about it. I too could not have cereal today. After he makes drinking milk very disgusting.
Yeah.
He's just completely ruined it for me. And then that scene with because at first when I saw Elizabeth Shue, I was like, wait, she didn't die? And like, what the fuck? And then you realize what's actually going on, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
when that sound effect comes in, I was like, what is that sound? Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
My favorite was Homelander's response to that. He's like,
turn the fuck back now.
He's like, I can only hold it so long for her. It's just like, no. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually with you, Homelander. I'm with you.
Yeah, you're all saying turn back now, please. Oh, no.
I also love that, like, immediately after that moment, he's like back in her lap, but he's just like,
yeah, he's like, yo, you motherfucker better not do that again. Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. I like I didn't like that scene, but I appreciated the
how fucked up that was.
Yeah. Yeah, milk scene was disgusting. Homelander is still terrifying as shit, even more so than Stormfront. I'm curious to see what's going to happen now that, like, you know, because it seems like the team, with the exception of Black Noir, are now slowly starting to kind of, like, I mean, they've always kind of had their issues with Homelander, but it seems as though now they have more of a reason to be against him, and I'm wondering if they're going to like convert to the other side and like start backing up Butcher and his kind of
and Starlight.
Yeah, right. So because you know now we have A-Train who's been kicked out. The Deep is no longer a member and he's struggling to get back on the team. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting ways they can take the storyline, and I'm curious to see which one they choose because they seem to be taking a lot of liberties in regards to how the comic was fleshed out.
Yeah.
So we really don't know. It could go either way, and I'm really curious about the Stormfront Liberty thing. I want them to really delve more into that because I didn't see that coming, and I was like, oh shit. Okay.
They definitely gonna have to.
Yeah. Well, they will. Most likely they will.
Who's your favorite character?
I like Black Noir for bias.
Interesting.
For bias reasons, because of
the Batman-esque.
He's done like literally nothing though.
But yeah, I know. But just the him as a character and like that fight scene between him and the Asian chick on Butcher's team.
Yeah,
I forget her name, but yeah. In terms of character, I really like Butcher. Butcher is an interesting character. I feel like there is going to be a redemption for him, and I'm curious to see what that is exactly because they kind of allude to his character and how crazy he is. So it's almost like it's like the parallels between him and Homelander are very interesting because they're almost like two sides of the same coin, right? And it's just like she said something along the lines of like you were one bad day away from
you were always one bad day away from going on some sort of like quest, like destructive quest.
Exactly, and that gave me very much so gave me Joker vibes. And you guys made a reference to Joker already in comparison to Homelander.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of like, okay, so there's there's an interesting dichotomy between these two, and I really want to see that fleshed out a little bit more. Homelander is just fucking crazy. Like, I like him as a character and a villain, but he's completely off the rails, and I find that interesting. So, yeah.
How about you, Darcy? Who's your favorite character?
I gotta say, this is a show where I don't truly have a favorite character. I'm just I love the ensemble of everything that this gets presented to me. I can definitely say I have lesser favorites that like fall lower to the list. But the thing is, I still love them. I just don't care for certain things. Like sometimes the Huey and Starlight kind of stuff, I'm like, I don't care for as much because there's so much other good stuff happening. But at the same time, I like Starlight quite a lot. Huey's character, I'm like, I like that one of the first seasons so far. In the second season, it's not quite my cup of tea, but it's a nitpick of a thing for me. I think if I had to choose a favorite, though, it probably has to be Homelander. I just love what that actor does. He's the most dynamic character, and I would expect that character to be the most boring character. And it is like, just because it's like, oh, because he's OP and a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, but he's the most interesting. I guess the other one I would have to choose is I'm going to call her Wolverine. I forget what her name is.
Oh, I'll just look it up. I think it's Kimuyuki or.
Yeah. I love her. One thing I actually want to throw here, though, I want to call out is like there's some fantastic acting and nuances being added to characters that aren't like crazy grotesque moments. Like
Kimiko, it's Kimiko.
Kimiko and Frenchie's dynamic is just really, really awesome. See that fleshed out, and it's like I like that more than I like the Starlight Huey stuff because it's way more organic and how it develops, and his
more interesting too.
His pure affection for her is like just really, really real and raw. And then I mean I like the dynamic they're getting into with what's the guy what's our brother on the show's name, the guy with the dollhouse?
Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk, which is also just amazing. But like his name, his dollhouse, his like OCD obsession that they're starting to dive into. I just think it's dope to see these like layers. They're not important layers, but they're just nice to see that this character isn't just going to be like just a joke of the Mother's Milk and whatever. He's like, there's actually depth to him, and I think they'll use some of his backstory as they're starting to unveil it, just to like add character and have him play an important role in the team of the boys. But like, it's nice to see that like, with everything going on, with all the craziness, that some of these other smaller roles still have like flushed out full like arcs going on in them, and it makes the show feel like full of richness. So
yeah, for me, I would say that Mother's Milk, Homelander, and Starlight are kind of like my main focuses. Also Maeve, I feel really bad like for Maeve and for Butcher's wife. Butcher's wife this season, oh my god, like the situation she's in, and also like his parenting style is so scary. Like he was called dad for the first time, and then his first thing was to throw a kid off the building.
Yep.
I was like, and then like he's like, you're making the kid grow up to be a pussy. I was like, oh my god, abusive father, like just red alert. And then like I like the kid, like he responds in like a very aggressive, like murderous way. And that's what Homelander, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Firelord Ozai and Zuko. The only time he actually really liked Zuko was when he did something like truly horrible, which was like, taking over Boston Say. He's like, I'm proud of you, young man. This is like, you shoved me and you almost tried to vaporize me with your eyes. Good for you. So there's that. I find really dynamic and interesting. Maeve, I'm just constantly scared for because I feel that woman is like one step away of being like beaten to death, and like someone she loves being found in pieces. And that's why like when he was like, I'm happy for you, I'm like, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you do when you're happy?
I'm glad we got to dive into her love life, because I feel like she didn't get the shine that I wanted to see in the first season. And now she just feels more whole. So,
and like honestly, the entire interview when he was like, like when they bring out like the statistics of like racial inequality with superheroes, I was just like,
Black Noir. I was like,
Yeah.
Then he brings it back though. I was actually impressed. He brought it back with like he doesn't identify with like a race. I was like,
It's like, oh god.
I was like, it's so stupid, but it's kind of smart though.
Yeah, because the thing is, I thought he was gonna go like a Trump route. It's like, he's black noir, so clearly he must be black. I was like, oh my god. But he's like, but since he doesn't identify as anything, I'm like, okay, but that's a bit of a save. And then and also we got a lesbian on the team, and I'm like, oh no.
He's like, he just outed her, and it's like, and it's like not like in a normal situation, like he get a smack, right? And it was like she had to like accept. She got brutalized in that moment because she's like, one, he said the name of her girlfriend. Now she's in fear. Two, she's been outed, right? And it's just like so much going on, so much.
Yeah, so like, and like it kind of reminded me of the plane scene from first season when this time she wasn't arguing back with him. She was desperately trying to protect what little she had, and it was constantly being taken more and more away to the point that when he yelled at her, he's like, "Stop lying to me." She said everything, and I was like, "Oh, Maeve, you gotta run, girl. You gotta run fast."
Yeah. By the way, Tactix, I gotta throw this back. When he said Black Noir doesn't identify, to give you a little bit of Atlanta vibes. Yeah. There's an episode where a character who's a black guy identifies as being a white guy. It's hilarious. You have to.
That's probably the funniest episode of that show.
It won like an Emmy because the whole episode was filmed as like, a C-SPAN episode, like those interviews. So the whole episode was an interview from like a show inside the show. And it was amazing. Like it didn't even have like it brought one of the original cast mates in, and he was in the C-SPAN like interview. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, Paperboy's reaction to this guy had me floored, man. This guy.
What was he doing?
He just kept ragging on the guy because the guy was like, yeah, like he's trying to be a white guy. Like, so he has like, it's like this guy who's like black. Like, no offense, but like black, and he's got a blonde wig on, and he's just like, yeah. I don't believe in my race. I'm actually like identify as a white person. And people were just like, oh, this nigga can't be serious, man. Oh, we look like Ellen DeGeneres out in this bitch. Like, yo, you don't find this funny? Like, you chose to wear that, bro. Like, that's you. I gotta see that clip if I find it.
It's so good. And so I'm like just thinking post the episode, it's like now Black Noir doesn't identify. It's just like sliding into that level for me.
Was there any in the first couple of episodes of the season, was there anything that like jumped out at you? Because we've been talking more of the last two episodes.
In the first two episodes or the first?
Yeah, first two episodes of this season. Was there anything that like jumped out at you?
No, nothing in particular. I like. There's never any like dull moments in the season so far. Anyway, right? Like I find everything interesting. It has a nice cohesive flow to it. So nothing in particular really stands out for me, other than like all the crazy shit that we've already mentioned. Right? Like.
I think the three of us could like go on for a good hour just discussing how fucked up that milk scene was.
There's a lot of fucked up scenes. So it's like every episode, you're almost anticipating. You're like, okay, what kind of like shock value are they gonna kind of throw in here? Like
when he warmed her breast milk with his heat vision, I was like, please don't.
Yeah, and it's just the way that he like. First, he's like, I was like, this was his tongue.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck, man?
No, yeah. He's like coming out like a cat.
I also love that like Elizabeth Shue came back for one more episode just for that. I'm like, oh, honey.
Don't worry, Umar. She'd be like, I get paid. Don't worry about that. I mean, I feel like there's got to be a bonus on that episode. She wore nothing but lingerie that entire episode.
100%.
Yeah.
Yo, what do you think of his? Okay, now that you've seen more of him, what do you think of his Giancarlo Esposito?
I still need to see more, but it like because he's kind of like the head honcho of VOT. He's almost got like an immunity to Homelander. Like Homelander can't really touch him, and so therefore he can like pretty much talk shit as much as he wants because like, yo, I employ you. Like, you're nothing without me. Like, you know what I mean? You kill me, bot is over, and your career is over. So what, bitch? So,
I just gotta say, he's hands down pulling a wicked Luthor.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like that whole role is just Luthor. Like that's like of all the roles that to mimic, that is what he's mimicking.
All right. I'm just trying to think. Like, I think we've like. I feel like we haven't talked enough about it, but it's the same thing. Like, it is only the first 4 episodes. I am very much looking forward to the rest of the season, and I like given the fact that like there's 10 episodes this season or 8.
12? Isn't there 12?
Give me more. especially post COVID.
I prefer them keeping it like tight. I would rather them not like do too much. Because then, you know, 8. No, it's 8 episodes per season. So we're halfway through the season.
Wow.
Sorry, Darcy.
12. Actually, did they drop something about a season 2 movie? I saw some trailer thing for that.
Yeah, I watched the. There was like a mini movie. I don't know if it was the full thing that I watched, but it basically covers Butcher's kind of journey before he rendezvous back up with the team. It's like what happened in between.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because like they even asked him like what happened, what was he wearing?
Yeah.
I also hear that I thought I heard something like they're going to also produce other more mini series type things or something, like some filler stuff in between stuff. Like I don't know. There may be more content that comes out that's just kind of like this same idea as what Tactix was just mentioning. But yeah, I'm kind of dope. Game to see anything.
Okay, so one last thing I'll say before we go to our next topic is the scene between. I really like the scene between Starlight and Mother's Milk when they were talking about their dads. That one I found to be like really that hit home for me, and also like their toast when it's like to fathers and to sugar. I was just like, yeah. So that hit home for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like the show has that good quality stuff, and like it gets overshadowed by like other amazing stuff, but the show is full. Like they don't just have the shock value and then a whole bunch of like, all right, I'm just waiting for that moment.
Yeah
all
right, so
hold on, sorry, one more question before we move on. So like from the outside looking in, right, because you know some people might contend to the fact that there's an influx of superhero content that's being put out right now, and a lot of like some people are feeling like superhero fatigue. So how would you, both of you guys, pitch this show to somebody who, quote unquote, has superhero fatigue?
I pitched it as, if you want to see what superheroes would really be like in the real life world, watch this. See just how fucked up they actually would become, how completely egotistical they would become, and how incredibly politicized and not actually just that they would become. If you want to see something like that, that's what the show is.
For me, I feel like it's like the I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but it feels like the antithesis of your normal superhero content, right? Like everything about this is like, if you kind of still want something superhero-ish, but you don't want the same old corn, this is going to completely flip everything upside down. And if you kind of want to take a gut shot out of all the superhero content, then watch this as well, because it's so fresh because it takes something that you already know and then breaks everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
How about you?
I just be like, watch it or not. I don't give a fuck.
Facts.
All right, so the next topic on the agenda is we're going to circle back and provide an update, our thoughts on the update of the Ray Fisher controversy with Warner Brothers. Have you guys been keeping up with what's been going on?
Kind of, not really.
So the gist of it is that so not only was Ray Fisher calling out Joss Whedon for abuse and like workplace abuse and inappropriate behavior, he was also saying that the president of Warner Brothers and also the creative director, which is Jeff Johns. So I don't know who the president's name is, but also Jeff Johns. So those two people kind of created a blanket over Joss Whedon to act the way he was. Like they were kind of like encouraging him or giving him like the space to be this bad.
I think it was like phrased something like to the effect of it. He was enabling it because they weren't. He raised his concerns. It's like your standard, like you go to the boss, you say this person was doing this thing, and then they just like, oh no, I don't think so, and they just let it happen.
Well, what Ray Fisher is saying is that Jeff Johns himself actually threatened Ray Fisher with, we can replace you with someone else.
I forgot that detail.
Yeah. So anyway, Warner Brothers shot back. Yeah, this thing is turning into a shit show. Warner Brothers shot back saying, like, we would like Ray Fisher to recant that statement regarding the president and Jeff Johns. And that we've started an investigation, but Ray Fisher hasn't participated in it. Ray Fisher then responded back by saying, I chose not to participate because I wasn't being given someone to represent my side. Like he didn't have someone a consultant. That's not the right word. It's someone who is a witness to what's going on between the deliberations and the investigation to kind of say that all those rights are being met. And that he was saying that I plan on partaking in it, but as long as they provide me with someone that I can bring to it.
There's also another thing he also threw out there was that the investigation is being done by WB and not a third party. So there's an implicit bias that the investigation will always favor WB.
Yeah. So this was going back and forth, and mostly Joss Whedon still hasn't said anything. And everyone else has been remaining quiet. However, Jason Momoa has recently, I think 2 days ago, hit his support for Ray Fisher.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, he went on Twitter or Instagram or something like that, and he was like, I support Ray Fisher. So this is the first time a big actor is actually supporting him. And the interesting thing is, Ray Fisher is actually currently in talks to appear in the Flashpoint movie. So he's doing all of this and still hasn't quite got a job lined up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, it's funny because it's you can choke out a chick, but you talk shit about a member of WB, and that's your ass. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I still can't believe that Ezra Miller is still attached to both Ezra Miller and Amber Heard are both attached to, like we said before. But Ray Fisher, who's talking about workplace harassment, he's the one that, well, the thing is that he's not out of the running. They just say that he's up for the Flashpoint movie. But
so WB, you can do harassment, but don't talk about it. I'm still hoping that Ezra Miller will literally run himself out of the movie, and then literally somebody else will run themselves in oh my god, I can't think of his name right now. What's his name from
Grant Gustin?
Yeah, Grant Gustin. Literally Ezra will run out at one point. He's like, whoa, I Flashpoint, I even changed myself.
Barry, what did you do? Oh shit.
Online again.
Yeah. Oh, all the CW characters just show up. Then you see he's running through the tunnel, and then you see all the little side ones. You see Ezra Miller, and then right beside him you see Mr. Stretchy Dude. Oh, we won't talk about that timeline.
Oh god.
I can't help it. But I'm happy to see Jason Momoa step up. Jason Momoa I love because he's always the first one to break the silence. He was the first one on the Snyder cut. He'd be like, "No, this stuff is real. I've seen it," and he doesn't hold back. And because you can tell he's just that kind of guy. He's just
a genuine dude. That's what I like about him.
He's genuine, but he's also he's a tough dude. And you can tell he's both a sweetheart and a tough person at the same time. And
he's bankable. The fact that he's bankable, he knows he's bulletproof, and he's you know what? I'm going to use it to my advantage, and I'm going to talk about what's right.
Yeah. He's on point. Ever since I heard him, the behind the scenes stuff, with on the set of Game of Thrones and whatnot, and like this, like everything he did for.
So Game of Thrones is a show that you haven't watched that I've been trying to get you to watch. So like,
stuff.
Okay, what's her name? Who plays the dragon?
Emilia Clarke. She plays Daenerys.
Yeah. So one of the things that they did was in the beginning they had a sex scene. He's a very big guy and she's a very small woman, and
it wasn't a sex scene. It was a rape scene.
Yes, sorry, rape scene. Yes, I forgot. It's been a while since I've seen it. Oh, I'm sorry. So it's a rape scene, and to make it more comfortable, he wore like a giant pink sock or like a uniform on his penis. And she was like broke out laughing. But it was like that, and in his relationship with her, he treats her like family. Like they're very, very close. She almost died once on the show, and he was like, it was like a really big deal.
She almost died twice actually.
Yeah.
Like, this was like she has aneurysms.
Yeah.
So like and she didn't. It was kind of like a Chadwick Boseman. She didn't tell nobody about it. She just like she kind of like for like the entire run of the series, she was like fighting this, and like I think after her first season, they diagnosed her, and they're like, it's a pretty good chance you'll die in the next 2 years, and she's just like, but she survived. She went through like 2 surgeries, and like no one knew about it, but when he found out about it, he had her back. Basically, because I know you will never watch Game of Thrones, and for anyone here who hasn't watched Game of Thrones, hold on. They start out the fact that he's like this barbarian who rapes her on their wedding night because she was forced married into him. And then over time, they actually fall in love. Mm-hmm. And to the point that they have a very loving relationship by the end of the season, but he dies. Mm-hmm. So he like after the first season, he's gone. Mm-hmm. But all like I think like in 3rd or 4th season they were doing like a press tour, and she was talking about like how she will never have a partner on screen like she had with Jason Momoa, because like he was still pretty unknown back then, but he always had her back. Whenever she had to do like excess nudity scenes, he always had her saying like, you shouldn't be doing this. If this makes you feel this uncomfortable, I'll back you up and like we'll stop this. And as a result, her nude scenes became less and less over time.
Yeah.
But like when she was on tour on 4th season, and like he's like 2 seasons dead, he comes up on stage and gives her a big hug and all that sort of stuff. And like whenever he's in London, he stays with her. And like whenever she comes to like his area, he stays with him and his wife. Mm-hmm. So like they have a really sweet friendship. So he's like what Darcy's saying, like he's kind of gotten that thing about it. Like he knows he's bankable, but at the same time, he doesn't let that go to his head.
Right.
Yeah. He's a genuine dude. So I'm glad to see him back up Ray Fisher. I think that's gonna bode well. Yeah. I feel like the way everything that Ray said at the very beginning very much makes me believe at 100% that there's nothing BS about what he's bringing to the table. Yeah. And I think he's right. Like if a lot of times these investigations happen, and those investigations are like, get your HR department to look into it. And people don't realize the HR's primary job, is to protect the business from the people. It's not to protect the people from the business. Now, there are obviously a lot of things they do to help people and their personal interests and hold up people's rights, and because a lot of stuff is by law. But at the end of the day, if they need to get somebody out, they will get somebody out and try to protect the business from being sued. That is their first primary thing. Yeah. So that's why so many people get like let go in very inappropriate situations, because their job is to protect the business. And so that investigation is as BS he's calling it to be, because it's going to be protect the business. Yeah.
All right, so we'll jump off in the last 10 minutes that we have to the next topic, which is that yes, Tactix is yet to get onto Game of Thrones, but also on Harry Potter. So you've started watching the first movie. Let's continue on with that. I'm kidding.
Wow.
Oh man, I've been waiting a week to let that go. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't.
That's that Sailor Moon comment, isn't it?
Oh, that's still so good.
No, so the last topic is, what did you like? So the new trailer for actually the first trailer for the movie Dune, which was going to be the 3rd iteration of this book series, has been released this past week. Now, I am a huge Dune fan. I've read the books. I've watched the '80s movie. Didn't like it. And if anyone here, anyone in the audience loved the Dune movie from the '80s, and you're mad at me for saying what I just said, fuck you, fight me. Anyway.
Whoa, he brought up the guns. Oh, damn. Holy crap.
We lost Tactix again. We lost Tactix again.
Yo, Umar, you on that protein shake or something? Like, damn.
But also,
in his old age.
once you turn 36, you just gotta start saying shit, right?
Did not follow that up well.
No, I realized halfway through the sentence, I'm like, I don't know how to end this. But like, so the '80s movie came out that had Sting in it and like Patrick Stewart and all these great actors. Still not a good movie. Then also there was I think it was oh god. That space had their own like mini series, and then they followed up with another mini series. That was all right. They definitely were the general concept of what Frank Herbert's was doing, but still not a great film, a great miniseries. But this trailer, well, I'm gonna stop right there. Like that's me. Like let's just say that I like the trailer, but we'll come back to me last. I'm assuming neither of you have watched or read the Dune series.
You would assume, right?
Yeah, if I've seen it, it's like my parents were watching it and I was a kid, and I know like, oh, that looked familiar. That's about it.
Okay, so you guys both watched the trailer. What did you guys think of the trailer as a non-fan? Like, what were your impressions? T?
Man, I don't know. Like, it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what these characters are. I don't know what this world is that they're trying to establish. I was so lost. I was like, I don't know if I want to see this. Like, I'm probably just going to wait till the reviews come out and then just decide from there. Because I'm just like, this is like, they're just in a desert. Like, what the? What's happening? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what Dune is. I don't know anything about this lore or whatever. So, yeah, man, for me, it was kind of just like, just it is what it is, man. The visuals look cool. Desert looks hot. The visuals look cool. The desert looks hot. There's a lot of sand. I like the uniforms. The outfits are pretty dope. Pretty fly. I'd wear that on Halloween or some shit. But other than that, I don't know what else I could say about the movie, to be honest.
What about the cast, though?
I don't even know, like, other than Dave Bautista and who else was in there? Zendaya, yes. But I don't know what's that?
Jason Momoa?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He is in that.
Had a badass scene, actually.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac?
Oh, yeah, he is in that, isn't he? Yeah.
Josh Brolin?
Oh, yeah, he is in that. All right. Did I even watch the trailer?
Did I even watch the trailer? I don't know.
I don't know. I probably saw something completely different.
We like pull up his like search history. It's like June. It's like, what the hell is this? It's like a knockoff film.
Like the
porno. Oh man, it's called two Dunes, one son. SON.
Spit out his drink on that one.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh man.
I got nothing.
Okay, how about you, Darcy? What did you think?
Wow. So after that refresher, so I equally don't know anything about this. It looked to me like like they're trying to build this next big, franchise kind of story kind of thing. I just kind of wanted more information in the trailer, but I get it. It was more like it's the first one. It's a teaser trailer, right? But it definitely required a level of like need to know, like I just don't really know anything. So I'm missing stuff. It looks visually as appealing in a lesser of a color palette way as what was that movie that came out a couple years ago? Ryan Gosling. It was a continuation of a older
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
It's from the same director.
Oh, great. So I heard that movie flopped. So that's why I said, oh, great. But
This director has also done like Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner, and I think Prisoners.
Sicario or Sicario?
Sicario.
Yeah. So it looks good. It looks like as visually interesting as Blade Runner. It looks like it's going to be more well thought out than Blade Runner, but I don't know anything. And as somebody who's like doesn't know anything about this, this universe or whatever, I'm like kind of left like, like Zendaya is interesting to me. She looked like she was a lesser character. The main actor, I forget his name.
Timothy Chalamet.
He's dope. I've seen him some stuff. He's dope. I'm in off of him alone. But it's definitely going to be, unless the next couple of trailers come out well, it's going to be a hard sell to the lady. So it's going to, because she's not going to feel it. So then it's going to be like, I'm just going to be at the theater with Umar smacking on the popcorn and being all loud like, and tag is not going to be nowhere.
Or Texas. Okay, so fair enough. I more wanted to see what like non-fans, what you guys would think, like what your impressions were. But I will say that no, actually, I definitely anticipated your comments, Darcy. I did not see yours coming.
No one's gonna see Did I even watch the trailer as a question to himself.
For me, I will say that I have been looking forward to this film since its inception, since Denis Villeneuve was given the director for this. I was like, he actually can pull this off. They really need a good writer to condense. There's a lot to the story. Like this is like Game of Thrones level information. And they're doing the first book, but they have to there are a lot of concepts they got to throw out there, and there's a lot of sci-fi things that they need to make in a way that it's not like heavy-handed or too exposition-y.
Is it going to be a series, or is it all going to try to be one film? Because I'm like, if it's all going to try to be wrapped up in one film, you're saying it's Game of Thrones level information. It's going to be a flop, bro.
I agree, but I think they're doing a franchise.
Okay.
So that's what makes me feel better about it. Also, they casted the characters perfectly. From what I know about the characters and having read them and watched them, I'm very pleased with the cast. I'm very pleased with the director. I need to look up who the writer was, but I'm sure I'll be okay with it. Aesthetically, it looks brilliant. It is what I was looking forward to. I think they're missing one pivotal character, but whatever. I'm sure they'll figure something out with that. Nonetheless, I'm very excited. The trailer made me feel a lot better about any questions I might have. And to be honest, I'm actually excited to take you guys to see this, because I know you're not a big sci-fi person. This would be something I would want to see if you would actually surprise you that you would enjoy. Because
it's a hard sell right now. I can see it.
It's a hard sell now because you don't know, but the thing is, there are elements that are very mind and body like.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not spoiling too much when I say that there are basically, that dude who put his hand in that thing because the woman put a knife to his neck. She's called a Bene Gesserit, and they have this advanced training and control over the body. And for one thing, the women can actually choose what gender they want to have their baby. That's how much control over their body that they have.
Interesting.
Also, they have a superior fighting style. And also, they have a way of calming their body. The test that he had to do is literally put his hand in something that gave him feeling of intense and ever-increasing pain. And she said that you need to bear as much of it or you will be killed. And so he used the Bene Gesserit training of, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I will face my fear and I will let it pass through me. When it is gone, nothing will remain, only I, except for myself.
Umar, stop spoiling shit.
That's literally a statement that was in the trailer.
I don't remember that.
Of course not. Anyway, so that's why I think that you actually would be interested in this. Darcy, you would be interested in it because, aside from the sci-fi aspect to it, there's also a great deal of political intrigue, and the combat looks on point. Like, this is meant to be like wars, like planets and planets going against each other type wars. And from what you were saying about Jason Momoa, he was killing it. So
what, you think you know me or something? You think you know me?
I know you in and out.
Ew.
Don't make that gross, man. I didn't mean it that way.
We came from the milk conversation at the beginning of this.
I'm sorry.
So Umar, quickly, as we get to wrap up, I need to get your reaction. Okay, so the writing credits on this movie starts with Frank Hubert, the novel writer, so that's obvious. Yeah. Then John Spates screenplay. There's 3 screenplays. So one screenplay writer is Denis Villeneuve, which is obvious. Then John Spates. John Spates did Prometheus, Passengers, and Doctor Strange, which is interesting. And then the other one is Eric Roth, and Eric Roth did Forrest Gump, The Insider, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and A Star is Born.
Oh, thank God.
I just want to see what would happen. That's all.
Oh, thank God. I got really worried because I was like, oh, I don't know who's writing this thing. But no, I'm good with that.